Haiti's chaotic assassination and UN invention. How a group of Florida men allegedly plotted the assassination of the Haitian president and sent the country into chaos. This is taken from abc.net by Matt Bevan and Yassim Pari. This article was published there October the 13th, 2023. In 2021, Dr. Christian Shannon and an eclectic group plotted to overthrow Haiti's president, resulting in chaos. Dr. Shannon, a Miami based pastor and doctor, and that is, by the way, a medical doctor, believed he was chosen by a higher power. And we can guess what that higher power, who that higher power he thinks chose him. This audacious plan led to President Jovenel Moïse assassination and Haiti's collapse into mob rule. Amidst the turmoil, a UN-backed force primarily comprising Kenya police is sent to restore order. This intervention raises questions about foreign involvement in Haiti as Dr. Shannon and others face prosecution. The nation awaits stability and recovery in the aftermath of this chaotic assassination. Helen,
Mhm.
your thoughts?
Oh, I got thoughts. Okay, I don't know why. Like, I'm John. I know you'll agree with this. Every single time we do a "What the Florida" story, it seems like
Oh.
it gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
Mhm.
I don't believe that there's any sort of like chaos demon that is attracting people here. But if somebody said there's a chaos demon in Florida and it's tracking all the weird people, I would be like, that checks. Because when you live here, I'm always finding it really, really frustrating. And also
Mhm.
the audacity of Dr. Sanon, because he was not a citizen of Haiti. And he was like, well, you know what? I'm going to do a coup of a country and presidency that I can't even get into power because he's not even a resident. And it just speaks to the egotistical ways some evangelicals exist because they're God's very chosen people.
Mhm.
And because they're God's very chosen people, they get to make all the decisions. And we're going to make things better for the people of Haiti. And then it became an international incident.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And it's a deep problem. And I do have more to say about this, but I'm going to pass it over to Kelley and get more of his big brain thoughts. He's my big brain guy tonight.
I wanted to talk about Moïse a little bit. The ex-president. I don't want to stick up for Sanon, but Moïse was no stranger to controversy. He, in fact, the exit polls on the day he was elected pointed to the fact that no more than 6% of the people voted for him. Now, I don't know if that was fixed, the exit polls were fixed, or what was going on there. I'm not claiming anything about the polls were accurate. I'm just pointing out what was reported. And this whole incident delegitimized his government from the very beginning and produced a lot of opposition to him from the very start. And if you know anything about Haitian politics, you do not want to get on the bad side of the people. There were allegations of corruption within his administration during several new road projects that he oversaw. And in a deal in which the Haitian government was buying goats. I'm not sure what was going on there. I was trying to find more about it, and I couldn't. I couldn't find more
because
about
goats
it.
are awesome.
Yeah, right. I don't know what's going on there. But
They're trying to up the cuteness level.
There's something.
Mhm.
However, what really seemed to foster most of the anger against him was Moïse was cooperating with the USA to stop the drug trade moving through his country
Right.
and trafficking to the US. In fact, it was
Mhm.
Colombian nationals that were found guilty of the actual
Mhm.
assassination of Moïse. And those drug cartels were working with Sanon as he was plotting his takeover from Florida. So he also made enemies while also campaigning against corruption within Haiti, apparently not his own, and for ruthlessly crushing any opposition to his regime. So there were some problems, but all of what I just said is no excuse for what happened to him or for what happened to Haiti after he was assassinated. But I just wanted to fill in who it was that Sanon was plotting against, and then I'm going to pass it on to John.
Okay, well, I agree. Jovenel Moïse was not a perfect leader. He dissolved his parliament, was ruling by decree, which, of course, if you know anything about South America or Haiti in particular, there's only been 3 times that power was handed over peacefully in Haiti in its, I believe, in its entire history. And Moïse was one of them. He took over from the prior administration peacefully and then proceeded to rule by mandate. So nobody's clean in this situation. But again, he didn't deserve to be killed. Originally, I think the plan was to kidnap him and then just take over the government when they found out that this Christian nationalist, Haitian nationalist person, the doctor there, he is the one who showed the arrogance to think that he was anointed to do this sort of thing by some god or another. But Moïse was keeping the peace relatively compared to what happened afterwards. And he had to deal with many disasters, which pretty much hobbled Haiti in the last few years. But he was also trying to get rid of drug cartels and dealers. That's kind of a very dangerous thing to do anyway. The Colombian nationals were, pretty much after they found out they couldn't use the good doctor to take over the presidency, just kept up with the kidnapping slant assassination and turned it into an assassination. It's sad. And I can't say that this Dr. Sanon was anyway justified in his kidnap. And he is, again, Helen's right, a typical Florida man. So I'm just kind of saying that's not true, but it does seem we generate more crazies than most places. So in that case, I think I'm going to pass this to Phil and see if he's got some further elucidation on this topic.
Yeah, I have some major elucidation on this, especially seeing that the person who might have been the mastermind, they're suspecting that he might have let's say the Haitian police believe he was the mastermind behind this whole fiasco. But this guy was a medical doctor, is a pastor. And then he's claiming God gave him revelation. He believed that God put him in this position to take over by means of coup, by kidnapping the president. Because I don't think the assassination, he from what I read, he had any clue really about the assassination part. It was more so of kidnapping and taking over of power. And but this kinds of show the dangers of religious thinking, the serious dangers that I always say beliefs inform actions, and his belief that some God or some higher power was speaking to him, giving him instruction, led to this whole fiasco, to what was contributed to this whole fiasco and assassination. And it shows, as I said, clearly the dangers of religious thinking, especially the fundamentalist thinking, people who think, oh, they're hearing from a God. and then making these immoral. They will not call it immoral because, oh, it's my God. It's my God. So it is not really immoral. hmm so I have the right to do such and such, justifying, right? To try to justify their actions. And this is a lesson for all religious people. Be sure, I mean, is it really true that such a deity or such a God is speaking to you? And think through the actions. Is this, if you want to claim it's your God, is this thing really moral? Or are you just following for obedience sake? Right? And the thing is that he also supplied weapons and equipment. And he had his own private militia, which was comprised of those 20 Colombians. Hmm. Raises some serious questions about his morality, his moral compass. What do you say about that, Helen?
Well, I don't think he has a moral compass. That's just my opinion. Yeah, hot take, everybody, hot take. Well,
but he's a man of God. He's got to have.
Oh,
a moral
yeah, of
compass.
course. Well, apparently, all you do is say that, and you have morals coming out of your asshole. Good for you. Anyway, and it's about this, and their morals are about the same worth of what comes out of your asshole. So I am sorry. I don't appreciate this very much. And it stinks really bad. And I do really appreciate, though, Kelley, you going into that background because you did your homework and I did it. So, but it helped, but it puts things into context because even if obviously, him being, mowed down in his home, his wife took bullets as well, and had to pretend to be dead, until, the violence cleared and, it went away. And then married to this person for 25 years and then dealing with that trauma. And they're already living in a very tense situation. So it's a whole lot of bad. And I can still have humanity and sympathy for that incident, even if the person, wasn't the best person, but the thing that I like, what I said before about these Christian nationalists that think that they have all the answers, and if they can just go somewhere or say the right thing or change things up, that suddenly these problems that we're having are just going to go away. And also too, Dr. Zion has such a big ego that I said before, and this is the thing that bugs me, that he was like, I'm just going to go in and take power in a country that I'm not belong to and play both sides, play with the people, manipulate the public and get them on their sides, and also working with the cartels. So he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. And it led to somebody's death. It became an international incident, got Kenya involved, and also the chaos that happened within the country. And if you go through the article, there was a lot of bad things that happened when the assassination happened. So, and I think it's probably a little bit of, Dr. Sonon's hubris that he thought the ends justify the means, and he didn't see the long-term consequences of his actions, of what this would mean for the people of Haiti. So, I think it's a big stinky Grossberger, and it's just very frustrating when, as you said, Phil, that bad ideas can lead to bad things. So, that's my opinion. Kelley, it's your turn, baby. You're muted.
You're muted.
Totally pulled the Johnny P. Somebody had to do it before the show was over.
It wouldn't be a complete show if that didn't happen.
Right.
Sanon's problems started when the drug cartels who initially supported him eventually dropped him. One of the things that happened the night of the assassination, they stole very few things out of the presidential mansion. But one of the things they did steal was all the files that Moïse had accumulated on the drug cartels in the country that he was getting ready to hand over to the DEA. So this was
Weird.
really weird, right? So
So
this
weird.
was totally a drug cartel operation. And Sanon was going to go in after they were, as everybody mentioned, they were supposed to kidnap him, not assassinate him. I don't know what ended up changing everything. Probably they had planned on assassinating him all along, while Sanon maybe thought they were going to kidnap him. But Sanon also was supposed to pay off the drug cartels, and he didn't give them the money that he was supposed to give them to support him as the new president. And as you mentioned, Helen, he wasn't even constitutionally able to be the president of Haiti. While he was born there, one of the requirements is that you have lived there for 5 years prior to the election, prior to becoming president. So there was a couple other things that he didn't meet, but that was the major thing. And I think it's important to mention, too, that while Sanon was arrested in connection with this failed coup, it was for the importation of equipment to facilitate the coup, as Phil mentioned, weapons and other stuff. And no charges of him leading or masterminding the coup attempt have been brought forward by the Haitian authorities. That isn't to say he isn't guilty of these things, but he hasn't been charged with any of them yet. And with that, I want to turn it over to John.
Yeah, I agree, Kelley, that the mercenaries weren't paid, and so they decided to do this on their own. I don't buy that. I think that the cartels were planning to do this all along, and they don't care about the chaos. That actually helps them a little bit. But maybe this doctor person thought he could bring them all to Jesus, and that would make it all better in Haiti. Would not surprise me. I wonder what the Ugans and the Manbos would think about that, the voodoo priests and priestesses. But who knows? I don't know any at the moment. I have known some in the past, but so I can't ask them. He found ample funding for this from a company, and I forget which company. Probably better I don't mention it online anyway. That he promised exclusive contracts to once he became president on certain Haitian resources, which ones weren't totally taken from him by occupying forces in the past, which is most of them. So yeah, Haiti is just a sad, sad basket case. And I feel really bad for them because they've really, even if the guy that was murdered was not the best president, at least it was allowing the government to function at a minimal level. And once that's gone, it's the drug gangs in the and the gangs in the neighborhoods and the teenagers with guns that are going to start ruling the roost. Anyway, Phil, what do you think?
Something has been going through my mind, you know. I don't understand why Christians think that they're taking over a government will solve any problems. Because
then
let's
they
look
would
at
be
it
brought to Jesus, Phil, and all the problems would go away.
But we know from history that whenever Christianity took over countries, like back in England, the Puritans, back the Roman Catholics was controlling at one point the certain governments. Everybody else suffered. Then the Protestants took over, everybody else suffered. And there's a recurring trend because remember, in Haiti, there was one president that was a Roman Catholic priest or previous Roman Catholic priest, and they still suffered under that president, this dictator sort of rulership, similar to the
one was
God
a
of the
voodoo
Bible.
priest too.
Yeah,
whoa,
that's true too. Yeah.
Papa Doc was a voodoo priest.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah. So there seems to be a certain trend, especially when it comes to religious people trying to impose their religious thinking on others and on a country and think that, oh, because they are righteous, quote unquote, and they're not really, um, that it will send the country in the right direction. But we know from statistics that countries that are least religious and do not have government being interfered by the religious and vice versa, that those are countries that strive, secular governments, right? So I found it very strange with this. I seen a certain trend again, a certain pattern, right? And as I said, this guy, because of his belief, Shannon guy, and it was John or Kelley made the point that Shannon, his conviction right now is not the same as the others.
Yeah, Kelley said that.
The others are sentenced with life imprisonment, but Shannon faces up to 20 years. The others face life imprisonment because, and that is why I said earlier that Shannon, I suspected Shannon did not know about assassination. His thing was just the kidnapping, really, and taking over the government. So I guess that's why there's no evidence right now to say that he actually knew about the assassination, but he did supply the equipment, he did supply weapons, and he did it illegally too. He did not file the proper filings with the US government,
Well, he
nothing
was
like
already
that.
working with drug smugglers. It was easy to smuggle the stuff back in.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm working
Yeah.
drug smugglers as a pastor.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, pastor. What sort of
Well, to be
pastor are
fair,
you preparing?
you know, he
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
he didn't cause the assassination. He just wanted to kidnap somebody because really
And
that's
also, to be
less of a
fair,
bad thing.
and also to be fair, there's nothing in the Bible that says you shouldn't do cocaine. So
That is true.
Correct.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to recommend people don't do cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
to our
the
wonderful
Bible
audience.
was wrong about that.
This thing was really fascinating. I encourage our audience to go look up more information about this craziness that happened, because it became a whole, like we said, a whole international incident, and we didn't even get to touch on how Kenya got involved. So if you read the article, do some more research, and if you want to hear more from the nonprofits, click above me. There'll be a thing. I swear, there's a thing up there.
I curse Papa Doc with my voodoo.
Yeah.